Hey guys, welcome to this quick tutorial. It's going to be a PC version of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, just trying to get you guys into Wanted, just to sort of show you how it's done, especially if you're a first time player. So you want to probably do the introductory session if it's the first time, really get your hands on and learn how to move around with the character, get your controller set up if you plan on using that. I myself am using an Xbox One controller, which is not compatible by default with this. So you actually do need to either install the download files, which I'll link in the description below, or use a third-party software such as Xpatter, which is great. You can use that because you can actually map all of the different buttons to your controller. So you can customize it, or if you're like me, you have a broken button, you can just change it. So for example, my right bumper is actually mapped to my R3, so that way I can use
your target.
R3 to do, like smokes, throwing knives, such as that. And I do find it's really helpful, personally. So if you're loading it the first time and you're level 1, you're not going to have any abilities anyway, but otherwise it just uses profile set number 1. So, like I said, I have mapped it, so for that you do need to go into the controls here and you have to select it. So in the controller layout, customize controls. So it does recognize that I do have a controller. Like I said, it doesn't work, so I do need to change it to this one, which I've done. I've then mapped out all the buttons. I'll explain that again in another video, but as soon as I do that, my controller should now work and I'll be able to move around as normal. So yeah, in this video I sort of just wanted to go over some different points. So the first thing you should be doing is getting really comfortable with the character's movement, so my character here and the camera at the same time. If you can't navigate both your character and your camera, you're really going to struggle. You're not going to do a lot at all, so it's important to sort of get really familiar with that. So just run around, don't even worry about your contract right now. Just basically want to be able to run, sprint, walk, whatever. Keep a straight line as you do that, and then turn and face behind you so you can check for your own pursuers and anyone else that might be hunting you. It's Wanted, remember, so it's going to have lots and lots of people hunting you, so just make sure you're able to turn around and do all that. So to assist with that, you probably need to learn the claw technique. So to do that, basically, you have to have an extra finger on the controller, which is really unnatural because you need to be sprinting while turning at the same time. So as you can see here, I can really quickly run away if I'm in a chase and run from my pursuer and still see behind me, so I can time it exactly right. So as soon as they get close to me, I can then drop the smoke. As soon as I see them coughing, turn around and slam the stun button so I get that stun. So yeah, the claw is really important if you do plan on using the console controllers or any compatible controller. It just makes your life so much easier being able to turn around and move at the same time. So do spend a lot of time getting comfortable with all this. I believe there's some sensitivity options on PC that you can turn down in the settings, so have a look through there for those. And I would definitely recommend turning down those sensitivities on both the axes just to make it a lot easier. Especially if you're using controller. If you're familiar and comfortable with using really high sensitivity controllers, then go ahead and leave that up nice and high. It probably will help you even more. But for the locking, that's the left trigger by default on console. You really want, with the controller, it's quite hard for that to be too sensitive. A lot of people complain on PC that it's really hard to lock their targets. So that's why I recommend low sensitivity to assist with the locking. So yeah, obviously you want to lock in Wanted every single target, even pursuers, if you get the opportunity. It's just super important, so that way you can keep a track of them, and that way you won't be killing civilians. So there's no X prompt above this civilian because I have that lock on. You can see the white glow on them there. So very important to sort of do that. Make sure you use your locks properly. You can see that when he goes around the corner, the lock will start to beep. That means you're just basically, your lock is out of line of sight, but your character isn't. So as you can see, I'm behind a wall here, so I'm out of line of sight, but my character lock is still on. So locks work a lot different to the line of sight of your compass. So I just want to explain that. So as you can see it now it's wearing off because the lock itself is behind. If you're quick enough, you can get it back on, And again, you can practice all of the locks here. So practice your sensitivity, your camera, your movement, all your locking here. That's perfectly fine. So we're going to jump straight into the compass now. Watch it's lighting up. There you go. So the compass works through the eyes of your character. So just imagine when he walks behind it, it dips. When he comes back out, it reappears now. Just imagine there's a beeline between your character's eyes and that NPC. So you're looking through the your character's eyes every time you see that compass. And we can actually do quite a lot of stuff by doing that. So peeking is the best example. So what I'm going to do is my compass says he's out of line of sight, and then now he's in it. So we can use objects like that tree and the statue that he's walking behind right now. The statue apparently doesn't work. That's a bit silly. So trees we can use as line of sight tools, and we can either wait till they cross paths through them, or we can use them to block things as well. So I'll use this tree to block out, and there you see. And then he comes in. It'll take a little bit of time, but there. So you can use objects like these trees and buildings, not statues apparently. You can use those to your ability, to your assistance in basically confirming that the person you have locked on, the one that you think it is in fact the correct target. Because especially in Manhunt and other game modes, but even to a lesser degree Wanted, it's quite difficult to spot your target. So the compass is a tool to use that. The line of sight is your best friend there to make sure it is. Open areas, it's going to be a lot more difficult to do that, but this is a fairly open area, but yet again I'm using this, environment to my advantage. So I've worked out, yes, that is him. Practice that. You can do that pretty much in any wall, corner, building, fence, anything to kind of work it out. So if I wasn't sure, let's say that there is my contract, let's say that's my compass. What I could tell you to do is I could look here, and my character's eyes are in line of sight, so that compass should be lit up. But let's say I'm not sure if it's him or if it's him, because let's say they're the same persona, they're both barbers and they look the same, and I'm not sure. So what I could do is that one is still within line of sight, just if I was to make a line. Now if I take like one step here, and it really is peaking. See, I would say that's not in line of sight right now. So if the compass was in line of sight, then it's a pretty good assumption that that one there, or even that other guy here, is my contract. So you can peek in and out to use that to your advantage. Just be mindful that it makes you super obvious, because other NPCs aren't going to be doing that. So, but that's a really pro tip to sort of lock onto your contract. Obviously it's Wanted, so it's not going to be that difficult. Most of the time it's going to be just like it is right now. It goes light blue, so we know it's pretty much him. There's no lookalikes around. We're pretty safe to assume it is him. He's going that way. It's going to take a long time to catch up, so I'm going to cut him off. So it's a really good idea to practice this in here as well. Just go around the long way, slow down if you think he's going to be there, and here again, and then slow down because you know he's coming around the corner. We can see it coming. We're going to get this hidden kill here by blending. Yep, sometimes it's a pain to lock, but just keep trying, keep practicing. Even after a lot of practice, sometimes you still can't do it, even when they're just doing something as simple as walking. But you just got to keep practicing that lock over and over and over again. And yeah, so that's what we want to sort of do. Just use a line of sight to our advantage. We know that, in this case, telling us he's in sight, we get it.
Remember to be discreet when you are within sight.
Just go past this.
If you are not discreet as you
Okay, so we know he's in that group. We can see that he's behind. We don't know exactly which one it is. But just to reiterate one more time, yes, we can sprint. We should be sprinting as much as we can in Wanted to get to our targets. We can play a more stealthy approach if we want, but on a big map like this, we should be sprinting at least half the map. And then once we get close, then we use our stealth-based approach. So we're not 100% sure which one it is. I do presume he's that one. Yeah, he is, by the way he's acting weirdly. So right now we can throw a knife to sort of break the distance. There's multiple meanings to sort of catch up. I could, like I said, break line of sight. Didn't mean to run up that. I could break line of sight and just kind of use these little bits and odds and ends to sort of run between, sort of catch up on him. I know he's going to go around the building, so I can use the chase breaker and sprint through here, match him up on the other sides. So just practice that. You'll get really, really comfortable with it soon enough. And line of sight is your friend, not just for compass checking, but also for running, sprinting, breaking the distance between you and your target. Just be mindful, it obviously makes you very apparent to your target, and it also makes you very, very apparent to your pursuers. So if you're running around a lot wanted, it's going to make you super obvious, not just for your target, but also your pursuer. So you might need some more defensive abilities if you plan on running around a bit like a maniac, so keep that in mind. But if you're being faster than the person on your tail, then you're likely going to get your kill, and then you might die, or you might have enough time to sort of run away into somewhere safe, or use a smoke and get your stun, and then make your way to your next kill. So it's all about being sort of the first one to the kill, and then you can assess it and go, yep, I want to go for the kill, or no, I need to be defensive here and deal with the tail that's on me, and then go for my kill. But being in a position to make that call is much more powerful than being the sitting duck, and having your target always running and outperforming you and getting away from you. So Wanted is very much a game of chase the leader, and whoever's in first place is likely going to have more pursuers on them, so they're going to have to play quicker and quicker, and when they're in first place, to shake off their tails. Either that, or when they're in first place, they're probably also more likely, depending on their playstyle, to swap things and add a defensive profile set such as mute and smoke, and then they could just go for stuns for the rest of the game if they've got a healthy lead, because they'll have 3 pursuers on them, so they can just hide in areas where they cannot be aerial killed, and then sort of just fish for stuns. So then your approach would need to be completely different, because they could even be using things like morph and be hiding, and then it's all about how you approach them from there. But you still need to be quick, because there's 2 other people trying to kill them as well. So it's like a mixture of being quick and then also understanding that they might be defensive and then playing around that. So wherever you can, always go for the acrobatic / aerial kills, because it avoids their smoke bombs and their mutes and their charges. So killing people from above is always a good decision. Just don't go too high up, otherwise in Wanted, if you go up on top of the highest roof, everyone else is going to be on top of the highest roof. And when you do that, you'll never get the high ground advantage. You only want to go on the high ground just before you kill. So if you can do that, you'll absolutely maximize your advantage on using that high ground advantage. You've seen it before, everyone goes on the roof once, everyone's on the roof for the rest of the game, and then it revolves around shooting and knifing, and it gets really messy really quick. So utilize the roofs, but don't overutilize them. That's the key there. So I'm going to move on to sort of the next point now. Not sure if I explained it in depth, but if you're not sure who your target is, simply just stop moving for a bit and let them walk away from you, or even if you think you know roughly where they are but you're not sure because the compass is full, just take a few steps back, and okay, there they are now, and I'm not moving and the compass is not moving, so I know they're blending. They're probably hiding or waiting around a corner or something like that. So I can use my compass and look at it and go, yep, he's not moving, I'm not moving, he's stationary, he's probably blending in this group down here somewhere. Yeah, my compass lit up as soon as I poked my head up there. So go down, see that ledge is blocking line of sight, that's how you know it's him. So see how it says down right now? So if you're above your target, it'll say they're down, meaning they're a level below you. The opposite also happens. If he was up on top of that ledge, it would say up or above, so you know that he's actually above you. So it can get a little frustrating if they're roofing, so just keep that in mind and use that to your advantage, and just look at it regularly and go, yep, up, down, and then assess whether you need to go up or down as well. Sometimes you know the map so well that you'll predict that they're above you, but you know that they're going to be soon below you because they're going to jump into a hay bale, or you just know the map and most people go from that roof to that roof to that roof. So you could just get yourself primed and ready into a position where you know they're going to land, and then you have that kill ready for them. Yeah, so that's like sort of predicting movement. So that's more of an advanced tactic, but in Wanted, it can be really helpful to have a really good understanding of the map and just know exactly where that player is going to be at any given time. Not based on their current movement, but based on the environment as well, and knowing, where certain paths lead and all of that. So keep that in the back of your mind. The more you know a map, the better your awareness is going to be. A great player is not just going to know how to use their character in camera. They're going to know how to use their abilities, their character. They're going to understand their opposition. They're going to know exactly what their opposition is and how to approach them. So that's sort of the next point. whether do we approach with a low profile or a high profile sort of action. So he's not that aggressive, this NPC. Not NPC, he's, well, technically he is, he's not human, but he's my target. He's not a civilian, I should say. So I would recommend using as much aggression as necessary without breaking discreet. So see my silent meter at the top right there says silent. I'll just lower it a bit. So we want to keep it up in that top quadrant. We don't want it dipping into discreet before we get our kill. If it drops, it's fine. Just make sure it goes back up before you get the kill. Otherwise, it's the difference between a 300 point kill and a 150 point kill. Secondary to that, you also does not contribute to silent kill streaks if you get discrete kills. So it's really important to try get as many silence as possible and avoid the discretes. So getting one a game is probably ideal because it helps towards variety, greater variety and all that. But don't overdo it. If you're really struggling and you're in second place and your first place is there and he's just doing laps around you, sometimes a strategic discrete kill is actually the best course of action, especially if it means you avoid getting stunned or something like that. So sometimes a kill is better than no kill. Just use it to your discretion and don't overdo the discrete. You're not just going to upset everyone else, but you're also going to affect your own score. So as you can see, I've had the kill on him for over 3 seconds, so the meter is full and it's flashing. So I can see the 150 bonus points. I wouldn't even recommend going for those. As soon as you get the prompt, guys, just hit the kill. Don't mess around. If you don't know it's him and you're not 100% sure, this is a great tactic to scare people because quite often you hang above them and it'll cause them to panic, and then you got the lock on them so you can kill. If it's the other one, then you've got to quickly try and change it over and kill them before they run away. In this position, it's really quite difficult to do that because they don't have to step very far away before you don't get the kill prompt. So I wouldn't be able to kill him even if he was like here. It's got to be quite close. The ideal accurate position to do that kind of maneuver is actually right trigger B. It's not working on the computer, interesting. So you should be able to do right trigger B to grab that ledge, but this is the perfect acrobatic position to do that because you still got the long range there while being directly below him. And then obviously, yeah, that's him. So you're just about knowing like, okay, do I want to do a low profile kill or a high profile kill? But yeah, almost always do high profile. There's almost no downside to doing it. It's just don't overdo it. And I would consider like a hidden kill like this and then running out of it to be like, somewhat semi-low profile. Because you're getting a hidden bonus. I wouldn't sneak up to him like this to try and get a hidden. That's far too risky in the focus as well. I would never do that, especially against a good player. I would only, if it's a good player and there's a walking blend group, I would consider walking with it for a little bit, and then as soon as I get to here, I'd run out of it with still maintaining my hidden, and then get smashing the kill prompt. So you could get a kill like that and get a hidden quite easily. But it just depends. If that's only if they're stationary or killing their own target. If they're a good player and they're running around a lot and doing what I'm showing you, then just go for the silent kill. Don't risk it. If it's a newer player or a not so experienced player, that's when you can risk it and try to get those hiddens more frequently, and even focuses if you're really confident. Poison, I'd recommend using that against even good players. It's just knowing about when to use poison. It's really, really, it's a great ability. Obviously, don't use it on first place if he's got 3 pursuers, because by the time the poison wears off and kills him, he's likely to be dead by someone else. He's going to run around like a headless chook and try and get someone to kill him, so you don't get those poison points. So don't poison unless you're in first place or your target only has 1 pursuer, being you. It's quite important, otherwise it's going to get intercepted and you're going to get really, really frustrated, so don't even try. So yeah, I just also now want to show you how to use some of the more basic abilities. Everyone seems to say that smoke doesn't work. I don't really have a good example of that in here, and it's quite hard to test it, but I'll show you how to sort of the opposite. So let's say that's my contract there, and let's say he has smoke bomb. I know it because he's sort of being really defensive. I've been versing him for the last 8 minutes. He's been smoke stunning me like continuously. Let's say I know he has smoke. I know he has it now. It's not on cooldown. So I'd just be approaching like things like this. Sorry. I know he's got smoke, right? So I'd be approaching really close and then running up the ledge. So that way he drops his smoke in panic. I've got the kill range on him, and then I'm killing him from an acrobatic position. So definitely use things like that to your advantage. Try not to get hooked and stuck on things like benches and hay bales. People will often bait you into jumping in here because you think it's safe, because you can't be stunned in one, but at the same time, you can also be smoked out of it, and then you'll start coughing, and then they can't get you. So just be really careful, and that's why having a bit of extra meter gauge, so let's say it's full right now, I can then just sprint at the last second. As you saw, it never dropped below discreet, yet I got that burst of sudden movement. That's why it's really beneficial to do that. And that will get through things like mute and smoke. You can even get through charges if they're too late. So it's perfect to sort of time your kill perfectly and just get that little bit of burst right before. You'll probably likely lose incognito, but that's if you had it in the first place. And I wouldn't even care too much about incognitos. They're good to get one a game, but don't try it for any more than that. They're just going to slow you down too much for the most part. But yeah, that is how you beat sort of smoke. And smoke's all about timing. So if you're in a chase or you know someone's about to go in for the kill, and if they're a good player, they're going to bait you. So for example, I know he has smoke, and there's no wall for me to climb, I would run up to him and then curl back, and then he drops smoke, and I'm still outside of it. And then he thinks, oh damn, he's got two options. He's either just going to stand there and go for the stun, in which case I can throw the knife at him and wait it out, the smoke that is, and then go for the kill, or he's going to run away, so in which case I'll try and run around it and sort of cut him off. It's going to throw him off a little bit because he's going to think he has that smoke stun, and I'm going to play to that to my advantage. I'm going to go, yep, alright, maybe I'll stand really close to it and bait him towards me and go, yep, you got me coughing, and slam the kill button and then actually kill him because he's going to get a little too close. He's not protected unless he's in the dead center of his smoke or even behind his smoke. When you drop smoke like this, you don't want to step too far forward, otherwise you can be killed through it. So when you drop smoke, you actually want to take a couple of steps back. Then if you see them coughing, then run in and go for the stun. It's all about timing. Smoke, it does work, it just needs proper timing. Otherwise, again, you'll get frustrated. The same with mute. With mute though, you need to run at them and use it at the perfect time. So let's say that's my target and he's coming at me, and my pursuer, sorry, and he's coming at me. I'll be dropping mute about here, but I have to be sprinting for it to affect him. Otherwise I need to be a bit closer. So always make sure you have that running momentum just before you drop mute to get the full advantage of it. It's quite important. Right now, if I shut up, you'll hear the heartbeat sound. It'll get louder if I get closer. So the heartbeats don't really help too much with helping you locate your target, but the opposite happens for him. He gets a similar sound. It's called whispers. It's like a whooshing sound, people talking, whispering in the background, and that noise only happens when I'm close. The closer I get, the closer the whispers are. So if you start hearing whispers and you have no abilities to defend yourself, it's probably time to get the fuck out of there. And either A, get your kill, or B, just run out of range of that, or C, try and get like a naked stun / a jump stun, or anything like that. But yeah, the sound of whispers means you need to act pretty quickly. They're not always that accurate either, so if you start hearing them, the louder they get, the closer they're going for your kill. So use that to your advantage to make that decision on what you need to do. The last thing I'll sort of show you what to do is the silent hunt. So it works differently on PC than it does on console. So on console it's amazing, it's like the best perk, no doubt, you have to have it in pretty much every profile set. On PC it's questionable, it's probably good enough, especially for wanted. So on Silent Hunt on PC, what will happen is when I jump, and whenever you jump, always let go of the A and the trigger. Don't jump and have that held in. I don't know if this profile set has it, I think it does. But essentially what Silent Hunt does is it lowers the drop rate of silent to discreet while jumping. On console, it's jumping and running. On PC, it's only during jumping. So on Wanted, it's pretty handy on a lot of maps because there's lots of jumping and you want to move quickly, and jumping is a quick and great tool to get to your target. But on console, it's so much better. So yeah, you could probably use it, but even without it, which is what you're about to see now, because it doesn't work while running, you're still going to want to practice this, and this is a great place to do that. Introductory session is amazing for practicing this, so this is really handy and wanted. So it's basically called jogging. Silent Hunt players on console know so much more about it, and it's different. It works differently on there, so you're going to have to practice it on PC if it's the first time playing. So as you can see, I am jogging within line of sight of my target, and my meter is staying within silent. So you want to have, it's up to you how much you want that to go down. You might want to save a bit so we can get a bit more burst towards the end, like you just saw there, while still maintaining silent. So it's completely up to you, but you do want to practice it, and you want to sort of just feather that right trigger in. So I don't know how possible this is on PC without a controller. I've never tried, but all I'm doing with my controller is holding right trigger in and out, just enough so it keeps the momentum of my character moving. So yeah, you can really cut a lot of distance doing this and maintain your silent kills while in line of sight. So obviously if I have pylons like this, I'm just going to run between the pylons and then bang. Obviously I didn't mean to break discreet, but you get the point. Using line of sight where you can, and then boom. Like, that's going to surprise most players. Like, he could predict that if he's looking at me, of course, and drop his smoke, but it's a lot less predictable than me doing this. And he's got a lot more time to react to me walking up to him like that. No NPC in the entire game of Rome will ever walk up these stairs. No, doesn't happen. So learn the maps. You learn where NPCs walk and where human players are walking. Human players will only ever walk up these stairs. You're safe. That, I guarantee that is 100% the case. So you'll learn things like that. And just practice. The more you play, the better you'll get. You'll unlock the abilities that you guys want to play with, and I'll go into separate, descriptions about abilities later. But for now, this is sort of just generic wanted tips, and hopefully it helps a lot of you guys. The last tip I'll end you with is sort of a bonus one, and it's more of a bug than a tip. When I lock onto this, hear the sound? Now listen to this sound. Ka-chink, ka-chink, ka-chink. So when you lock onto a hay bale, no ka-chink sound, because no one's in it. If there was a human player in that, it would make the same ka-chink sound as this. So if there was a human player in the hay bale, me letting go should make the ka-chink sound. So if you're ever not sure if they're in the hay bale or not, on Brotherhood, you lock that, and if it makes the ka-chink sound, guarantee there is someone in it. Whether it's your target, your pursuer, or some other player, I can't tell you that, but there is guaranteed to be a human player in there. So always lock them, listen for the ka-chink sound if you're not sure where your target is or your pursuer, and that's a great way of telling. So that's just the last sort of tip that I'll leave you guys with. Alright, I hope that helped, and I'll leave this this little tutorial here for now, and hopefully see some more of you guys in Wanted. Thanks for watching.